Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Selling Items Online virtual series from the Sandusky Library. My name is Carly, and I will be your presenter for today's session. So our first topic for our Selling Online series was Facebook Marketplace. That video was released on September 16th, and you can still view that on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And today we will be discussing eBay. Looking ahead to October 14th, we're going to be talking about Etsy. And then on October 28th, we're going to be kind of going through some different selling apps, Mercari, that sort of thing, Poshmark. So those are our topics for the upcoming weeks. And again, we are focusing today on eBay. A little bit of housekeeping. Videos will be posted on the Sandusky Library Facebook page and our YouTube channel on the dates mentioned on the previous slide at 7 p.m. The videos will remain up after that date and time so you can watch them at your convenience. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified when new videos go live. All right, so let's talk about eBay today. So before we even get into it, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and my background with selling online. I'm definitely not a big business seller at all, because you will find that, especially on eBay, there are some huge companies and resellers that have warehouses and everything. I am nowhere near that, but I have been selling items online since 2008. And I've tried a bunch of different things, and eBay works pretty well for me. I'm one that likes to get rid of clutter and things in our home, and often I will sell things on eBay while doing that. Um, Chances are you have heard of eBay, and today we're just going to be doing sort of an overview, but there is a huge amount of information online about eBay. They're going to be able to go into much greater depth than I will be. And so I'm hoping to provide you with some resources, just sort of like a quick overview of sort of the process and what to expect. And then some of these resources are going to help you to delve more deeply if that's something that you're very, very interested in. So eBay is a huge global marketplace for buying and selling items. I think one of the advantages of eBay is it's a great way to sell items with more value, collectibles and other items that have a specialized audience. Someone may be looking for your item to complete a collection. So I have linked to a couple of resources with just some general information about eBay. So here we are, we have the history of eBay, and this is just a little bit of factual information and a timeline. eBay was initially started in 1995, and you can kind of take a look here through the history and some of the big benchmarks and things like that. The timeline here lets you know. You can see in 2002, eBay and PayPal merged. Talks a little bit about how many users they have. This is kind of an interesting fact. In 2014, a rare Superman comic book sold for $3.2 million on eBay. So this just kind of gives you a good idea of where it started, where it's gone, and where it is right now. The other link here, it really gives some details about what you need to know before you sell on eBay, and it's more of a getting started thing, so it's a little more practical. The article that I showed you first was more of just kind of information and history, but the Tough Nickel link is going to be more practical tips and tricks, and some of those things we will be going through in the presentation today. If you watched the Facebook Marketplace program, there's going to be a lot of similarities. You'll see some of the steps are similar, but one of the big differences, there's actually two of them. One of them is that eBay brings in the shipping aspect. And so that is something you're going to need to be able to be prepared to do. You have to be able to ship your items. And both on, from a practical standpoint of how are you going to package your items, all the way up to, allotting for shipping and all of that kind of thing. The other thing that eBay introduces that we really didn't deal with at all with Facebook Marketplace are fees. So let's go ahead and we will take a look here. Um, these are just some starting points for eBay. First step, you are going to need to sign up for an eBay account. I also recommend that you set up a PayPal account. That is how I have always accepted my eBay sales payments is through PayPal. I know there are some other options, but I do think PayPal is still a very commonly used one. And so, again, I'm speaking to my own personal experience here. That would be my recommendation. We're just going to go through these bullet points real quick here, and then we'll get into some more depth on each of the upcoming slides. Next step is to choose what you want to sell. Then you're going to need to photograph your items. You're going to research your pricing. You're going to take into consideration eBay fees, and that also includes PayPal fees. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. You want to prepare for shipping before you sell your item. I will tell you some stories about things that have happened to me with shipping, and in the hope that maybe it'll help you to avoid the mistakes that I've made. And then you're going to list your item, and then once it sells, you're going to ship. All right, you do need to have an eBay account in order to sell on eBay. You're going to choose a username, and bear in mind that that username is going to be sort of like how you're identified on eBay. And so you want to make sure it's something that you think you're comfortable with and that someone might be comfortable buying from. You'll also need a password, and then you're also going to need to connect PayPal or a credit card to your account. So you may need to create a PayPal account prior to signing up for your eBay account. That is how my eBay fees are paid, are through my PayPal account. So each month when I have a bill due for eBay, they just take it directly out of my PayPal account. You're also going to need to verify your email. One thing to kind of keep in mind is when you are first getting started, you're not going to have any feedback on eBay. So sometimes it's good to start out by making some purchases, some small purchases, just to start building that foundation. It helps people to know you can be trusted as someone to buy from. So I'll show you when we get into kind of seeing what the account actually looks like from a seller end. But when I look at my eBay account, I am able to see how long I have been selling, and the people buying from me, they also can see that under my profile. And again, I'm not a huge seller, but I do have feedback, and I have over 500 positive feedback at this point. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's not to say that people won't buy from new sellers. I've certainly done it before, but it does maybe not red flags, but you have to really want the item. I think sometimes to say, okay, like I'm going to give this a try because this person is new, but I would really like this item. I think you can sort of ensure that you appear trustworthy by taking some extra time in some of the other areas too, with your photographs and with your description and things like that. And we will get into some detail with that as well. But first step is to sign up for an eBay account, and you probably are going to want to sign up for a PayPal account as well. Next up, you're going to choose what you want to sell. You're going to look through your items, decide what you'd like to sell. You may need or want to research pricing and what's selling before making that choice. And in a little bit, I will show you how to do some research both on eBay and on other websites. And you're also, going to want to keep that shipping component in your mind when you are considering what you want to sell. One time I sold a board game, and you would not think that a board game would be a problem to ship, but it was the dimensions were kind of large and I undercharged for shipping. And long story short, once I actually calculated the shipping, the actual cost, once the item had sold, I ended up losing money because, you kind of have your selling price, you have your shipping if you require people to pay shipping, and combined, my shipping was more than those two things combined. So you want to kind of keep that in mind, and we'll talk about this in a little more detail, but you want to make sure that you really understand the cost for shipping before you list. I can't overemphasize that enough. Another option is to put similar items together. Lots of clothes that are the same size or the same brand. Maybe you like, I sell a lot of clothing, but maybe you like Express Portofino shirts, and maybe you have a couple of different ones. You might want to put them together, and someone might be interested in buying them together. So that's just one idea. Or if you're selling, kids items or whatever, put those things together um, and make a little lot of them. Next up, photograph your items. You can do everything just like with Facebook Marketplace. You can do it all through your phone. There is an app for eBay that's very good. Excuse me. And you can do everything directly through your app, so you can photograph. But I can't, again, this is another area that's very important. Photographs are super important when you're selling virtually because a person is never going to see and touch your item. And so you want to make sure that you are taking lots of photos, a variety of different angles. You want to try to use a clean, uncluttered background. Um, Take a minute or two more to put it on, a wood surface. Sometimes I even put things just like on a white piece of poster board. If it's a small item, that's going to give you a nice clean white background, and it's going to look a lot better than if you put the item like on your bedspread or something like that. So just kind of think about that. Your background, they want to be looking at the item and not kind of like looking at the clutter and the things in your house. You can stage things in that little area and it'll make a big difference. You also want to make sure that you're completely honest about your flaws of your item. Make sure, mention them in the description. Again, this is another way, the better your photos are, the more confident people are going to be buying from you. They're going to feel like, hey, this person went to the effort to take good photographs and to make sure that um, I could see everything as well as I possibly could. And so it's worth making that effort. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to research pricing. We're going to go through, we're going to stop the slideshow here in a minute, and I'm going to show you how to research pricing before we go any further. So you're going to search eBay for similar items. You're going to see how they are priced. What are people asking for them? Another key is to look at sold listings on eBay. It's great to look at current listings, and it's important, and you should do that, but you want to make sure that you look at the sold listings because that's going to give you a good idea whether your item is selling, and if so, what price point is it selling for. eBay does suggest pricing during the listing process. This can be helpful, especially when you're getting started, but it isn't always 100% accurate. So that's just something to keep in mind. You also want to remember fees when pricing your item. We'll go into a little more detail with that coming up, but you want to make sure when you price your item, if it's something you purchased and you're trying to sell it for a profit, you're obviously going to need to consider how much you spent for the item initially. And then you're going to think about your fees. You pay a fee to eBay and you pay a fee to PayPal. And so you're going to want to think about both of those items as well as your original purchase price when you are pricing your item. And then another website that I like to use is checkaflip.com. So we're going to pause the slideshow here and I'm going to hop over to eBay and then check a flip so I can show you some of what I am talking about. All right, so here we are on the eBay homepage, and you can see right here that it allows you to search for anything. So we're going to take a look at a search and get an idea of how it will help you with the pricing. So I'm going to search for Vera Bradley backpack. Let's say I have one to sell. So I am going to search for that. Okay, so one thing you can see here is it already kind of looked into women's bags and handbags, so it kind of like restricted the search to that category. And one thing to kind of keep in mind when I'm talking about pricing, I personally prefer buy it now. I do not do a lot of auctions. However, that being said, I have had a couple of items that I haven't been 100% sure how much it might go for. And so I did do auctions, and sometimes you can make more money with auctions than buy it now. So it's something to just kind of keep in mind when you're doing your research and when you are looking at pricing. So you can see here there's 4,054 results for Vera Bradley backpack. And as I'm scrolling through, you can see there's a huge variety. Okay, there's a lot of different kinds of backpacks. So there's a sling backpack here. There's a campus backpack. There's a fashion backpack. This one is a campus backpack, and you can see that they are auctioning this item. And you can see that there's already been 11 bids. There's 4 days and 7 hours left. And so they're going to, wait until that is over to sell that item. So a couple things that would be helpful to know is what kind of backpack are you selling? So you might have to do some research. You might have to, if you don't know the information, if you don't have like the original tag or something, you might need to do some searching online. You might need to look at Vera Bradley's website just to get an idea of what specific pattern you have, what specific type of backpack. But let's say you decide you have a campus backpack in stamped paisley, okay? But you can take a look here. You can get an idea of some of the different prices just by looking through here. But let's say you have a campus backpack in striped paisley. So we're going to add some details. And this is important because this actually is going to give you some ideas for when you are adding a title and a description. Okay, so you can see that by adding stamped paisley, that has restricted the search significantly. Someone that is looking for that specific item, they're going to be able to zero in really carefully onto those items. You can also see a general range of prices here. Okay, so you can see, there's some people selling both the lunchbox and the backpack. There's some selling just the backpack. This one's kind of interesting if you look. This is a sponsored post, so someone is paying to have this included in searches like what we are doing right now, and it doesn't actually fit the specific pattern that we're looking for, but they're hoping that you might click and say, oh, hey, maybe I do like that one. So, okay, so we look here and we can see all of the campus backpacks in stamped paisley. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to, over here to the right of search, I'm going to click on advanced, okay? And so it's going to take you to an advanced search, Vera Bradley campus backpack stamped paisley. We're going to click on completed listings. This is very important because you want to be able to see how many of these are actually selling. This is going to give you a good idea, okay? So if you look here, these are our completed listings. If it's green, the item's sold, okay? And so, for example, this one, they were asking $26.99 and a best offer was accepted. So we aren't 100% sure what this one sold for, but it did sell. This one here sold for $38.99. It had free shipping. So they kind of built their shipping into this price here. This one did not sell. The starting bid was $37.99 with $9.90 shipping. So you can kind of see how the one above, it was a better deal. This one also did not sell. Okay. This one here is kind of interesting. So it's $39.99 plus $9.90 shipping. It was a campus backpack and it also included a fossil wristlet. So that's kind of what I was telling you. You can sometimes put items together that are similar or that kind of go together. Here's another backpack, and you can look here at the dates that they sold. My guess is once school started, you could get a little bit better deal on these than if you were trying to purchase before back to school season started. So this is a really important thing to be able to look at the completed listings and see how much the item is actually selling for. And so let's try it again with another item. So let me go back up here. I'll just go to eBay's homepage. Let's say I want to know about Amish butter print Pyrex refrigerator dish. So I am starting out with a very specific item, okay? So you can see even within that though, there's some variation of what people are selling. So 206 listings for Amish butter print. And here is a set of refrigerator dishes. It's all 4 of the dishes plus all 4 of the lids. This is an auction that ends today. And the bid is up to $65 plus $24.20 shipping. So you can kind of see here. There's also some other things that are just like single refrigerator dishes. And so this gives you kind of a ballpark idea. But now we are going to take a minute and we're going to go up here and we're going to click on advanced and we're going to look at completed listings. Okay, so this one here, $24.68, it did not sell. Okay, this one included pink gooseberry as well as turquoise Amish butter print. That went for $35 plus 10 shipping. So you can kind of see, oh hey, I just have a dish, it doesn't have a lid, that's how much it went for. If I had 2 of them and I had lids, better price. And you can kind of see too what I was talking about with photographs. For the most part, very simple background. You know, you've got the white, you've got the wood. This is on carpet, but at least it's kind of like plain. This one looks like it's kind of on some white there. And so gives you a good idea. And it's good to kind of take some time. This set didn't sell right here. This one didn't sell. And so this gives you an idea of what to price your item for. We're going to stop here with looking up prices on eBay, and we're going to go ahead and do the same quick searches on Check-a-Flip. All right, so here we are on checkaflip.com. We looked at this for Facebook Marketplace, but we're going to go ahead and use it in the context of the items we just were looking up on eBay. So we're going to look up Vera Bradley Campus Backpack Stamped Paisley. And so what I like to do with this is it gives you an idea of the average sold price, the percent of the items that sold, and then it also lets you know what things are currently listed for. I've noticed the site has been running pretty slowly lately, so we'll sit for a minute and see if we can get some information to take a look at. All right, we're starting to get some results here. All right, so I'm going to just say that I do not feel that this information is nearly as helpful in this case as what we just looked at on eBay, because I am not seeing the range of sold items that we just were looking at. And I don't think the prices actually reflect that well. So I'm going to just take off that pattern and just see if I like the results a little better with the campus backpack. So just so you know, there's definitely trial and error. And honestly, if you decide you want to sell on eBay, I feel like you have to like this part of it a little bit. Okay, so this is a little better representative sampling. It's not just that specific pattern, but you can kind of see that the average sale price is $38.86 and 32% of the items sold. So you can scroll through and you can kind of look and see if you see one that matches your pattern or even multiple ones that match your pattern. And so that's going to give you some ideas. But like, for example, maybe you say, hey, this is the one that I have. It only went for $16.50. And so it's just something to kind of use as a research tool. And then you can kind of look at the other ones that are listed right now that are similar, and it's just going to give you a good ballpark idea. Um, I think pricing can be a tricky thing. I tend to price low. It's just how I do things because I like things to move, and I tend to price things low. And I also tend to accept offers because I don't want to store the items. That's just my business model, I guess. But you know, you're going to kind of pick whether you want to hold on to things. The longer, you know, sometimes you can make a good amount of money if you're willing to hold on to something and wait. So let's look up the Pyrex Amish butter print and let's try refrigerator dishes and just see how this one compares to what we were just looking up on eBay. All right, I think this is a little bit better search, it looks like, because I'm seeing actually some of the same things that we were looking at together. So average sold price is $29.66 and 53% have sold. And so you can scroll through and you can say, hey, wow, I have a set just like this. It has all the lids. That sold for a good amount of money. Let's keep looking. Are there any others like that? This one went for apparently that one's disinfected. Um, so anyway, you can kind of see the different listings. This person is asking $100 for a 9-piece set. So it just gives you an idea of pricing. And pricing, it's important. I mean, you don't want to price super low all the time, but you also can't get stuck on pricing things too high because then you won't sell. And so it's kind of a fine line that you walk. All right, so we just finished talking about researching pricing, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get and the better you will get at that. All right, so for fees, there are different fees for selling on eBay. You have your insertion fees, which are your fees for listing. You have your final value fees, which is what you will pay when your item sells. Then there are payment fees. For example, PayPal will take a percentage. And I have a website here that has information about eBay and PayPal fee info. It's probably helpful to click over to one of these charts just so we can talk about them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, so here is our website here that talks a little bit about fees on eBay and PayPal. And so the first thing you're going to encounter is your insertion fee, which is the amount you're charged for listing an item. This applies to both auction style and fixed price listings, which we talked a little bit about. I think right now there may be a promotion that is allowing at least 100. I do think it's 100, but I think they've run some promotions lately because one thing that you do want to know is you can just sell with a basic eBay account, but you can also pay for like a store subscription, and it's a fee-based thing, and that really depends. I don't know a lot about it because I do not have a storefront, but if you plan to do a lot of selling, that would be something that you would want to do some research about. Um, So, like I said, I think they've done some promotions, but let's go with this article that says 100 zero insertion fee listings for most categories. So that's something to keep in mind. If you list more than 100 a month, each item that you list, it starts out at 30 cents per listing. Okay. And a basic account is going to be just fine to start out with. I do not exceed my zero insertion fee listings. I'm having trouble saying that word, sorry. Um, and then your final value fee. It's the charge that's applied when the sale has been made, and you do pay on the purchase price and your shipping and handling. Okay, and this gives you an idea. Okay, so these are actual eBay stores, and it tells you how much it is a month, and kind of compares your final value fees. A good rule of thumb is the 10% final value fee. So, like if you're selling something for $50, 10% is going to be your final value fee. So, that's just something to keep in mind. But you can see that other categories have slightly different amounts, but it's just a good ballpark. Um, there are things that you can do when you are listing that will cost money. Okay, so if you want to do some of these more fancy things, you're going to pay fees for those. I do not do them. For example, this is one. Let's say you want to do a 1 to 3 day auction. You're going to pay for that because typically, they want you to do a 5 or a 7 day auction. And so there is a fee for that. When you get ready to list your item, it should say zero at the bottom if you have not added on any of these things. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. This article gives you a good overview. Um, it tells you right here, um, if you do managed payments through eBay, there's a processing fee, but if you use PayPal, um, you are charged a 2.9% processing fee in addition to a set rate of 30 cents for each eBay sales transaction. Okay. And then I do transfer the money from PayPal to my bank, and that is something that you can set up and do. So you can take a look here. I have never used a fee calculator, but it might be something that you find helpful that you can use. So this gives you a good overview of the fees and the things that you need to consider when you are listing your items. All right, so let's say you have gathered your items, you've taken your photos, you've done some research, and you are ready to list your first item. Before you even list, it's great to prepare for shipping. Um, the reason for this is you don't want to be unprepared if you were to sell an item. You also don't want to miscalculate your shipping so much that you lose money on the sale. So that's something to really keep in mind. A few basic supplies, a simple postal scale. I have one. All it does is you put the package on, it tells you how much it weighs, and that's going to give you an idea of how much it's going to cost to ship. I just print my labels on a regular printer and then I tape them on with packing tape. So you'll want to have tape. And then packing materials. It can be recycled materials. You can use newspaper, magazines, tissue paper, bubble wrap, those styrofoam packing peanuts. You can save those things as well as the boxes that you might receive things yourself in or have friends save them for you. Um, you also, I sell a lot of clothes, and so my preference for those is to use padded envelopes. You can get free shipping materials from the Postal Service. They are, however, priority shipping materials, and so you have to ship priority. If your items are lightweight, for example, the clothes that I ship, they are rarely over a pound unless it's like jeans or a coat or a sweater. And so most of the time, I don't use those free materials because I don't need to pay priority in order to ship the item. And so that's just something to keep in mind. I will tell you that when we go and talk about apps coming up, when we talk about Poshmark, the priority materials are perfect for Poshmark because the way that their model is set up, the customer pays for priority shipping, and you can put your items right into those free materials and ship them out that way. When you're getting started, go ahead and pack and weigh your item first in order to make sure you charge enough for shipping. So just go ahead and do that even before you list it, because when you get to that point in the listing process, you'll say, hey, I know this weighs this much, and that is a reasonable amount to charge for shipping. All right, so the next step is to actually list your item. You're going to put a title. You're going to use your photos that you took. You're going to write a description. You're going to input whatever shipping. You're going to set your price. Okay, so you're going to do all of that during the listing process. So I am logged into my eBay account. So let's take a look here and let's go through the process of selling an item. So up here along the top, I am going to click on sell. And it does say I currently have 200 insertion fees free. I'm not completely sure if that is a special promotion, if that's because I've been selling for a while, but just kind of goes to show you definitely do not need to pay initially. So I have a book here that I'm going to list, and I am going to, so this is my title. So I'm going to write Fresh Prints 25 Easy Printing Projects book new, because it's a new book. And I'm going to write the author's name here, Christine Leach here. All right, and I'm going to create a new listing. I'm going to say it's brand new because it is. And it's going to take you here. So here, when you're doing the title, you're going to want to describe your item as well as you possibly can, and you're also going to want to make sure you use a lot of keywords. I'm going to go ahead and add just a few things. I went ahead and added Barron's to it because that was the publisher, but you can see I only have 5 characters left, so I've pretty much filled up the title with as much as I can. So here, in each item, each type of item, it's going to have different item specifics. Books are pretty simple. Clothes, some of the things you have to put in a size, style, that kind of thing. But you can see here, there are new, brand new, like new. Okay, so I'm going to say, yeah, that seems good. You can fill in these recommended things. Like I can look in the book and I can say, let's see here, when was this published? Let's see if it tells me here. Let's see here. I'm looking, it was published in 2014. So I'll go ahead and I'll add that information. It's a paperback, it's a soft cover book. So you can add some of those details. And then I'm going to go ahead and add from computer because that's what I'm sitting on here. Sitting at is a computer. And let's see here. I will find the item. And I'm going to go ahead and choose the photos. And you can see I kind of took it against like a white background. I've got the front cover. I've got a close-up. I opened up to show some of the things inside. Here's the spine. Here's the back of the book. Here's another sample page. And here's like zoomed in on the ISBN. Okay. And then here is your description. They automatically fill it in. I do not use their autofilled usually. So I'm going to change it and I'm going to go ahead and Fresh Prints 25 easy and enticing printing projects to make at home book, soft cover by Christine Leach, simple makes series 5 Barons. I'm going to go ahead and include the ISBN. It is 978-1-4380-0596-6. New. And I might include, let's see here, it's like 100 and 127 pages long. So you're going to tell that information, you know, if it's whenever I do clothes, I give some basic measurements, I tell what the fabric is. All right, so they're recommending that I do an auction and that I start the bid at 99 cents. I'm going to go ahead and change that because I don't usually do auctions, but you may want to do an auction and that's fine. But this is where you would change your starting bid. I'm going to go ahead and make it a buy it now. And based on the little bit of research that I did ahead of time, I am going to say that I want to list it for $6.95. And then I clicked on more options and I'm going to allow offers. So I'm asking $6.95, but I'm going to let people make smaller offers and then I can choose whether I want to take those or not. And then they are recommending that I use media mail, which is for printed bound material. And I'm going to say that this is probably about a pound. Again, don't guess if you haven't done it before, but I'm going to say based on my experience that that's an accurate estimate here. And I'm going to have the buyer pay for shipping. You can choose to pay for the shipping, but that is, and offer the buyer free shipping. That's just something you have to make sure that you kind of roll into your price. So definitely be aware of that when you are setting your price. If you want to offer free shipping, that's great. But remember, it's free shipping for the buyer, but it's not free shipping for you. You still have to pay to ship the item. And then I don't usually use the global shipping program. A lot of people do, and they love it. It actually, the item doesn't get shipped internationally. If you use their global shipping program, you would ship to an address in Kentucky, and then Amazon handles it from there. I just don't use it, so I'm going to click remove, and then I am going to click list it. And as soon as it finishes processing, and I don't use easy pricing usually, so I'm going to click off of that. And then I'm going to go to my eBay and let me see if I can find the item that I just listed. And there it is. You can see the item. We'll click on it so we can take a look at how it looks on eBay. And there you go. So it isn't that difficult. You do have to do some more work up front ahead of time before you list your item, but it's not terribly difficult to list an item on eBay. It's not that different from listing it on Facebook Marketplace.
As we wrap up today, our discussion of eBay, I did want to show you all a resource because we really are just doing an overview today of eBay. And so I wanted to show you a resource that you can take a look at that will go into a lot more depth than I was able to today. You're going to go ahead and go to the Sandusky Library's website at sanduskylib.org, and you're going to go to the Research and Learn tab, and you'll go to lynda.com. You'll use your library card number and PIN. Alright, so once you are logged into lynda.com, you are going to be able to search for what you're interested in. And I'm just going to search for eBay. And you can see here that there is an eBay course that's available at lynda.com.
Hi, I'm Christopher Matthew Spencer, and I'd like to welcome you to eBay for Sellers Essential Training. In this course, we'll be covering the key elements of selling merchandise on eBay for home and business sellers. We'll start by covering methods for researching and pricing items. Then we'll talk about taking product photographs that captivate the interest of your prospective buyers. I'll walk you through how to handle secure payments for your completed sales using PayPal, a secure and rapid payment system. We'll look at properly packaging and shipping items that you've sold so that they arrive safely into the buyer's hands. Finally, we'll talk about posting feedback for your buyers at the end of the sales transaction. I've been selling and buying on eBay since 1998, and I've collected the best practices from thousands of sellers just like you who tap into the eBay online marketplace to sell virtually anything to anyone across the globe. Now let's jump right in and begin eBay for Sellers Essential Training.
And so if this is something that you're very interested in, you can see that this is a 2-hour and 48-minute module of different topics, and you can kind of go at your own pace. There's different topics, and there's they're broken down into smaller areas, listing formats, photos, preparing and managing. So it's a really, really great resource. And so I highly recommend this if this is something that you are interested in. Thank you so much for watching our second topic in our Selling Items Online virtual series. Next in the series will be Etsy on October 14th. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out via our contact form. It is located at our website, sanduskylib.org/contact-us. Thank you so much and have a great day.